Whenever you're ready.
Okay, I guess first question, how many of you have gone hunting? So, my topic is how well-managed and enforced hunting and can be beneficial for wildlife and the ecosystem as a whole. We will be discussing pretty much the opposite of how well-managed hunting is. Opposites on both sides of the spectrum, overhunting and overpopulation of animals, and how that can be harmful. That's the first problem is overhunting. Overhunting of a species is when basically the species is hunted to the point that they are not able to sustain their numbers, and this can be very detrimental to the ecosystem. As a good example of this would be in Thailand, where overhunting and poaching of species such as elephants, tigers, and monkeys has enabled many plants that rely on those species to transport their seeds, and to transport the seeds has made them become at risk of extinction. This information is from the National Science Foundation, which is a federal agency created by the government to study the ecosystem. The second problem is overpopulation. Overpopulation is when you have too many of one species, and that could be just as bad as overhunting, having a lack of the species, because it creates a huge strain on the environment. A good example of this would be on the East Coast, where there's overpopulation of deer. There's more deer there now than there was before Europeans came. This overpopulation of deer has severely harmed the environment, and according to the according to Cool Green Science, which is a website dedicated to researching the environment, that overpopulation is just as big, if not larger, of an issue than climate change in areas where it is affected. Pretty much the one real cause of any of this is poorly enforced wildlife laws, or just a lack of them in general. Wildlife laws are meant to protect and are meant to protect, I already said that, to manage wildlife, but in some places these laws simply do not exist or are not enforced. Without these laws to protect them, the ecosystem and all its natural resources are basically at the mercy of people, which is not usually good. Some solutions for this. Easiest solution, having effective wildlife laws. They help control hunting by determining what, when, where, and why something should be hunted. These laws also make governments responsible for natural resources. Conservation, which according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture results in healthy soil, water, air, plants, and ecosystems, which is good for everyone. This helps protect species in risk, but also allows hunting species that have the potential to be a risk for the environment. Another solution is public support of hunting. Nearly 70% of the U.S. is owned by private landowners. Having poor public support or knowledge of hunting can put species at risk of both overhunting and overpopulation due to the fact no one knows anything about it and doesn't care. In conclusion, we learned about the negative effects of overhunting and overpopulation. associated with poorly enforced hunting and how it can be detrimental to the environment. We've explored some of the causes for this and how conservation, wildlife laws, and public support can help solve these problems. My call to action for you is for you to learn just more about hunting. You can do this by attending a hunter safety course, which goes over how to safely hunt. You can take hunting classes, which teach you everything about hunting and what you can do. You can learn this by going to the Missouri Department of Conservation website to look up opportunities around you. They have classes all over the place, all over Missouri. Another way you can do this, a little harder to find, but you can do it, is simply find a mentor. If you know someone who likes to hunt, who is good at hunting, find them and see if they'll take you out so you can learn more about it.
Awesome. Great job.